one of the principal authors of the bill, is recognized for his opening statement. Mr. Bridenstine.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. For several years now, there has been uncertainty around which government agency has the responsibility to approve non-traditional space activities while ensuring conformity with the Outer Space Treaty. This uncertainty has hurt capital formation and innovation. It also sends American companies scrambling overseas to countries such as Luxembourg and the United Arab Emirates. This is the exact opposite of the environment we need in this country. I have made solving this issue one of my top priorities in Congress. And as the chairman noted, Bigelow Aerospace and Moon Express have been blazing a trail here. Last year, I proposed legislation to provide for an enhanced payload review. The American Space Commerce Free Enterprise Act takes from that and builds upon it much of the consensus we gained around the policies in that draft legislation. The American Space Commerce Free Enterprise Act provides certainty to industry by granting the ability to approve commercial space activities to a single authority. I want to be clear, we need a single authority. In this case, we've determined that the best case would be the Secretary of Commerce. The Office of Space Commerce will be elevated to a more prominent position within the Commerce Department and will perform a simple review of proposed operations to check that they are not violating the United States obligations under the Outer Space Treaty. This gives the executive branch the tool that it claims that it needs while instituting a clear, known, transparent, and timely process for American industry to prosper. There is discretion built into this bill for the Secretary to condition or even deny a certification. I think this is an important piece to have from a policy standpoint. However, the onus here to prove that there is a problem is now going to be on the government. The message Congress is trying to send is, as the chairman said, that America is open for business, especially in space. However, Congress also recognizes that there are other policies and interests of the United States that are affected by private sector space activities, one of them being national security. As a former naval aviator, a current Oklahoma Air National Guardsman, and a member of the House Armed Services Committee, there is nothing more important to me than national security of the United States. I want to be clear, this bill actually improves the national security of the United States. This is why the American Space Commerce Free Enterprise Act rolls in remote sensing reform. National security interests for the foreseeable future will require remote sensing systems, many of which are now going to be provided commercially. By requiring a national security risk assessment during the remote sensing system permitting process, we are ensuring national security concerns are met. This has also provided an opportunity in this bill for us to reform the broken system of remote sensing licensing that is overly restrictive, thwarts industry, and hands an advantage to foreign competitors. As the author of Title II of the Commercial Space Launch Competitiveness Act of 2015, along with my good friend from Colorado, Ed Perlmutter, I have been committed to fixing this issue for many years. The American Space Commerce Free Enterprise Act improves the remote sensing permitting process by creating a single decision point, increasing transparency of the process, avoiding unnecessary reviews of technologies that are available in the free market or that have already been approved, and preventing the interagency process from indefinitely delaying decision-making. These changes will allow our remote sensing industry to once again be the world leader. The bill goes farther than current law to provide for the physical safety of the United States government assets in orbit. After operations are certificated, the government can do an assessment for physical safety issues, and a consultation forum will be held to come to a solution that can prevent any disastrous collisions to protect the safety of government and private assets. This bill will engender a growth in commercial space activity that we have not yet seen in the United States of America. This is a good growth of space activity, but this growth will continue to put further stress on the agency responsible for approving launches, the FAA Office of Commercial Space Transportation. Congress needs to be mindful that we must be proactive on that office as well. And I have an amendment to begin addressing this issue later here in the markup. Mr. Chairman, this is a strong and a very bipartisan bill. This is a good place to begin the legislative process as we work with the rest of our House colleagues, the Senate, and the administration to eventually get a solution put into law. I want to thank you, Chairman Smith, for all of your hard work on this, as well as Chairman Babin. We're sending a clear message here today. I'm proud to support the bill, and I look forward to favorably reporting it out of the Science Committee. I'd also like to thank a couple of the staffers. Christopher Ingram in my office has been working overtime on this. And Mr. Chairman, your staffers, Chris Weidler, Tom Hammond, Mike Monero, and Shanna Dale have been on the phone day in and day out for many, many months now. And thank you for allowing them to work so hard on this bill. Mr. Chairman, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bridenstine. Appreciate the compliments directed toward staff and the legislation as well. We will now proceed with amendments in the order listed in the roster. And the first amendment on the roster is a manager's amendment, and the clerk will report the amendment.
Amendment to H.R. 2809, offered by Mr. Smith of Texas, amendment number 012.
Without objection, the amendment will be considered as read, and I'll recognize myself in support of the manager's amendment. The manager's amendment makes technical